Hey everybody, this is part of our full-length primetime podcast. You can check it out on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, YouTube, plenty more. I hope you enjoy.
We got to move on though, Brandon, into our last game. And this one, to me, when we were trying to come up with a title for this on YouTube, I will be honest, could not come up with one, because to me, this game between Ohio State and Clemson, this to me, I'm thinking it could be the best bowl game that we see this season. It's going to be a slugfest between both these teams, because Ohio State, we've seen what they can do this year with JT Barrett and Samuels and just that defense that they have, especially in that Michigan game. But then there's Clemson, where they've kind of been down this year, although they only have one loss to a good Pitt team. I've kind of ragged on Clemson a lot this year, especially for their slow start. Haven't seen the exact same season from Deshaun Watson that we saw a year ago. I'm just going to throw this out there for you. What are your thoughts coming into this semifinal game between Ohio State and Clemson?
I'm thinking it's got to be better than Clemson, Oklahoma, right?
Well, let's pray and hope so.
That's what I'm thinking. But I think that when I look at this game, I look at defense. That's automatically where I go. I think a lot of people probably want to take a look at offense, but I think that in this one, you've got to go defensive, because I think that offensively, they're pretty well matched up. I think that that's why you have to look to the defensive side. I think you have to look to the defensive line, who is going to have and who's going to be able to put more pressure on the opposing quarterback. And I think that one of the things that you take a look at, when you take a look at the Ohio State Buckeyes, they have gone, in the last couple of years, they have each year gone down in sacks. Each year they've gone down in sacks. And in 2014, the Buckeyes recorded 45 sacks. 2015, 38 sacks. And this year, just 26. So their ability to get to the quarterback in the last couple of years, not that great. I mean, you look back in 2014, and what was 2014 is when, they did it.
Mm-hmm.
They did it. And they had 45 sacks. They were able to get to the quarterback. They were able to be successful in pressuring the QB. Clemson has faced 4 defenses ranked in the top 20 in total sacks this season: Florida State, Boston College, Pitt, and Wake Forest. And I don't think that Ohio State is going to have tremendous success getting to Deshaun Watson. I think that they may have more success being able to shut down or limit the running game with Clemson. And I think that Deshaun Watson will still be able to have success hanging back in the pocket, because I don't think that front line for Clemson is going to get barreled down by the defensive line of Ohio State. I think when you take a look at Clemson, I feel like they have more depth, size. Those are things that I think are going to give Clemson the edge defensively. And I think that that's something we look at that game. You have to go back and look at the game that Ohio State played against Penn State. They played at Penn State in that offensive line. I've gone back to this multiple times this season. That offensive line for Ohio State, it's like they were letting the floodgates open. And the defense of the Nittany Lions was breaking right through on crucial plays for the Buckeyes. And JT Barrett had no time at all. He was getting sacked. He was being hurt. He was throwing the football away. And ultimately, who lost that game? The Buckeyes. I think that Clemson could do much of the same in the game this weekend. I think that you got to watch out for the Clemson Tigers.
Well, and I mean, I can see that, because Clemson, the one thing that their defense has done this year is get after the quarterback, but to flip it around to the other side with Ohio State, they got to get after Deshaun Watson, who this year Clemson, I don't know if it's whether Deshaun Watson or this offensive line is just so much better. They've only given up 14 sacks this year, which is not a lot of sacks. So this could be, to me, a very defensive, battle-minded game, which, if I'm looking at it between the coaches, I don't know about you, Brandon, but if it's going to be a slugfest, defensive-minded, just kind of, I'm going to say blue-collar kind of a game, I am giving my tip of the hat and kind of my advantage over to Urban Meyer than Dabo Swinney. What do you think? If it's a defensive battle game, which coach do you think has the better advantage in this one, Urban or Dabo? I'm going Urban.
I'm going with Clemson and Dabo Swinney. The Tigers have 46 sacks on the season, which ranks second nationally. I think that if Ohio State cannot get things going on the offensive side with the offensive line, the edge clearly has to go to Clemson. And for nothing else, for the example that I gave with Penn State, I think that when you look at something like that, and then you look at the team in Clemson that has the second most sacks on the season with 46, you can't possibly then give the edge on the other side to Ohio State. And you may be able to say Ohio State because the Buckeyes are allowing just 117 rush yards per game on the season, which is huge. That is a big stat for them. That is a big shutdown for them defensively. But they're showing that they can't get to the quarterback. And I think that if you give Deshaun Watson enough time, in his own words, he is the best quarterback in all of college football. So when you give the best quarterback in all of college football, according to Deshaun Watson, that much time, then you may have some problems. So I have to give it to Clemson.
I know Brandon's sitting there saying, according to Deshaun Watson, because some would say the best quarterback in college football plays for the Crimson Tide. Others who are sitting on my side of the table might say that the best quarterback in college football took home the Heisman, but that's besides the point. We digress here on the Primetime Podcast. This game,
and then others would say the best quarterback is Chad Kelly, but I think Chad Kelly's the only one saying that.
Or Cad Chelly, as Sean Anderson of the Fast Break would call him. But this game to me is gonna go out two ways in my mind. It's either going to be a defensive slugfest, like I said, which I'm kind of hoping for. I want a close game that comes down to the wire where there's not a lot of points being scored. I know that a lot of people are like, wow, Ricky, that's very boring because there's no offense. But that is what I'm hoping for, a close game, defensive game, much like we saw with Michigan, Ohio State. Or it could be on the other side where both defenses can't stop anything, and it's just the J.T. Barrett versus Deshaun Watson show, and it's like 45-42 or like 52-48, and it's just a huge blowout in the end of it. If I had to put my kind of finger on this one, I think that we are going to get a defensive battle. I think that Clemson's going to set the tone defensively early, and then it's going to turn into what kind of situations and what changes can Ohio State make. And that's going to be the big thing, I think, in this game is what changes can Ohio State make in this one? Because I think that Clemson's going to come in and their main mindset is going to be, hey, let's try to make this team a little bit uneasy. Let's try to kind of knock them out of their shoes on this first drive of the game.
Ricky, I think that when I take a look at this game, when I really look at this game and I look on the offensive side, because we talked to defense a little bit here, the thing that worries me, and this brings defense into it actually a little bit, is that what we've seen from Clemson is that, and multiple times throughout this season, they can get out to a nice lead, but it's not safe. It is not safe. Look at the game that they played against Virginia Tech at the end of the season. They were up handily, and they ended up winning, 42-35?
Mm-hmm.
They let teams back in. The game against Pitt, they let Pitt back in. So if Ohio State goes down by a score, multiple scores, don't think that you're down and out, because Clemson has been very generous this season. And right now it is the season of giving. In the spirit of giving, Clemson may be given back some points, because that's what we've seen this season with Clemson. They have not held the lead. They have struggled to close out a game. Even again, when that win against Virginia Tech, they won the game, but not comfortably, not at all. So I think that that's another thing that Ohio State could have going in their favor.
Well, and the thing for me in this one, I think this is going to be the best bowl game of the two college football playoff games. I think it's going to be the closest. I think that this is going to be the one where the lead can change, especially because of what you said, Brandon. Clemson gets out to leads this season, and then they kind of take that foot off the gas pedal a little bit instead of keeping that foot right on the neck of the opponent that they are facing. But before we wrap everything up, before we get to Swanee's final thoughts, is there anything with this game that we did not touch that we need to?
Not that I can think of, my friend. I think we got it.
Okay, well, with that, it's time to go into it. Swanee, Christmas season's over, but this is the last one of 2016, actually. What's Swanee's final thoughts?
Well, what I have to say is that I think it's been a very good 2016. I think it's been a really good 2016, at least coming from the perspective of the Primetime Podcast. I know I have had a whole lot of fun, Ricky. I hope you have as well. And all of you, our fans, our listeners, our viewers, our loyal patrons, I think that it has been a really good time, and we hope that you have had a blast as well, and that you continue to be with us through the new year into 2017 and beyond, because we are looking to continue to grow and be able to bring out more content for you all. And I think that in 2016, we did a great job. We've gotten to 4,000. We're over 4,000. I just got to say thank you to everyone who is a part of this channel, MVP Network. We're all working really hard here to be able to continue to do good things for you and to expand and to do even more good things and get even more creative. I think that that's going to make the presentation and the quality that much better for you, the fans, the listeners, who you deserve that. If you're going to be a subscriber to us, if you're going to be loyal to us, you deserve good quality each and every time and creativity from us. And that's what we are continuing to try and do. So thank you for a successful 2016. And I know Ricky and I are looking forward to a very successful 2017 as well. Enjoy the bowl, the rest of the bowl season, and hopefully 2 very good games on Saturday.
Well, and Brandon basically did my job for me. Thank you guys for a great 2016. Like Brandon said, cannot wait to give you guys more and better content in the years to come, starting with 2017. I want to thank you guys for listening to this edition of the Primetime Podcast. Make sure to follow us all on Twitter. Those are down in the description, but you can follow us at Ricky Widmer, Young_Swan19, and at Most Valuable Pod. Also, make sure to support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. Thank you guys again for listening. It was a great 2016. We'll see you in the new year, but as always, have a good day, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed a lot of emotion. If you want more, click this video right over my left shoulder. You will certainly not regret it.